Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something big. We're going to tear down one of the most common pieces of advice you hear online, the idea that every new business absolutely has to start with WordPress. I mean, for the last 2 decades, this has been the go-to answer, right? It's practically a reflex. You asked how to start online, and people just say WordPress without even thinking. It's become total dogma. But here's the kicker. What if that advice in 2026 is actually a recipe for failure? The argument we're looking at today says this old way of thinking might be setting new entrepreneurs up for a serious fall. So let's get into it. All right, so first up, let's challenge this WordPress dogma head on. The argument here is that WordPress, which was born in the super simple age of blogging, has kind of morphed into this Frankenstein's monster for anyone whose real goal is to make money, not to become a part-time IT manager. It's seen as this heavy anchor that's just slowing down your growth. It's a path that forces you to become a tech wizard, a troubleshooter, before you've even had a chance to make your very first sale. Think about that. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. The whole idea that WordPress is free? Well, this argument just completely blows that idea out of the water. Let's unpack how these hidden costs really start to build up. To really get it, you have to understand something called total cost of ownership, or TCO. Look, it's not about the price tag you see up front, which, yeah, is zero. It's about everything else you're forced to pay for just to keep the lights on. And this slide just lays it all out perfectly, doesn't it? Your so-called free software needs paid hosting, you gotta buy premium themes, you need security certificates, backup systems, and a dozen essential plugins just to do the basic stuff a business needs in 2026. And every single one of those things, every new plugin, every update, every potential conflict, it all adds up. This is what the source calls technical debt. It's like a silent tax that just drains your most precious resources, your time and your money. And this is the real killer, right here, the opportunity cost. Every single hour you spend playing webmaster, fixing plugin conflicts, dealing with PHP updates, that is an hour you are not spending on the things that actually make you money. Like writing great sales copy or actually talking to your customers. And if the cost in time and money wasn't bad enough, then you have this security nightmare. I mean, think about it. Because it's so popular and so fragmented with all these different plugins, WordPress is literally the most attacked piece of software of its kind on the planet. So this forces you to ask a really fundamental question. What do you actually own? Is it a folder of vulnerable code on a server? Because that's not an asset, that's a liability. Your real assets are your email list, your brand, your relationship with your customers, and all of that can go up in smoke if your site gets hacked. Okay, so if the old way is so broken, what's the alternative? Well, that brings us to the next big idea, the all-in-one revolution. The source here proposes a huge shift in how we think. It's about moving away from just building a website to creating something way more powerful. You see, the goal isn't just to have a website anymore. The goal is to build a conversion engine. A website just sits there and gives information. A conversion engine is a lean, mean machine designed for one thing and one thing only, turning visitors into customers. Just think back to the old way of doing things. It's this messy, complicated assembly line of parts that don't really fit together. First, you get your hosting. Then you install WordPress. Then you have to find and pay for a theme. Then you bolt on an e-commerce plugin, then an email marketing tool, then a membership system. And every single one of those bolts is a place where things can and will break. Now, let's flip that on its head. The new way? It's a single, unified ecosystem. Everything is designed from the ground up to work together seamlessly right from day one. So these all-in-one platforms, the source mentions Sustain.io as an example, they bundle everything you need under one roof. We're talking sales funnels, payment processing, course hosting, you name it. And the magic of it is that it completely gets rid of that technical headache of trying to force 10 different pieces of software to play nice with each other. And what's the ultimate payoff for all this simplicity? One word: speed. In today's business world, let's be honest, the winner isn't the person with the fanciest, most customized website. The winner is the one who can test an idea, learn from the market, and pivot the fastest. And that speed leads you directly to the ultimate competitive edge, which is our next topic, focus. It's about having the freedom and the mental clarity to put your energy where it's actually going to move the needle. And the source lays out a brutal truth here, one we all kind of need to hear. Your customer does not care what content management system you use. They just don't. They care about one thing: Does your promise solve their problem? That's it. Obsessing over technology is just a clever way to procrastinate. And this really is the core message, the biggest takeaway of this whole argument. Words sell, plugins don't. Your time, your energy, your brain power, it should all be poured into communicating your value, not configuring software. Because at the end of the day, the right technology should basically disappear into the background. It should be the thing that empowers you to become an amazing marketer and storyteller, not the thing that forces you to become the unpaid IT guy for your own business. Okay, so let's bring this all together with a roadmap for 2026. The final point here is all about choosing the path of least resistance. And not because it's lazy, but because it's smart. It's the strategic choice to get your business off the ground and moving fast. The path to actually making money online, according to this argument, is by reducing complexity, not piling more on. It's time to stop fighting with your website and start making your technology work for you. It should be your best employee, not your biggest headache. And that's the question we'll leave you with. It's a really important one for any entrepreneur to think about. Is your technology an ally that's speeding up your growth, or is it a jailer that's holding you back?